ペルー、マチュピチュへ向かいます。ペルーの山は、他とは違いますね。解説などはありませんが景色をお楽しみください。少ししたらディスコードの音声が入ります。そこで、ツアー解説をしてもらえます。ここは、テロが横行しているとか、ここ全部、ポテトの畑だとか、結構面白いです。20人ほどの、コンパクトなイベントです。
This is a 10 million city area.
10 million?
10 million, yes.
Wow.
As
That's amazing.
As I said before, it's the second largest city of the world in the desert.
Cool.
途中着陸する空港は、富士山頂くらいの
Now
標
we're
高で
flying
す。
Surco. And later we are entering into the valley of the river Rimac. Lima, if you see, sometimes you see brown spots, and not a lot of them, but some of them are ruins. So you find here in the city also ruins of ancient cultures. Not the Inca culture, but the Pachacamac culture.
That's interesting.
What's a good cruise speed, guys?
So here in front, when you see this big building, flat building, that's the shopping center. And besides the horse club of Lima.
That stadium looking.
Yes, the big stadium is the horse ride. No, I don't know the name.
Horse riding.
Horse riding.
Racetrack.
Horse track.
Racetrack. Yeah.
This is the right part is the Gulf El Inca or Los Incas. Gulf Los Incas. And then at the base of the mountain on the right, now you see the stadium. That's not the national stadium. That's the stadium of the university football club, soccer club of Lima. One of the newest stadiums in South America.
Very nice. Looks good.
There's also the green area we were flying. A small, but a little bit bigger spot of green. That's the Agriculture University of Lima. It's famous because it has a base date of potato, because you know Peru is the country of potatoes, and they host thousands of different kinds of potatoes as a base database, as a live base. Yes, it's the University of La Molina.
What flight level do we want?
17.5. It's going to be the safest bet.
6,000.
Hey, for y'all in the Cessnas, just because I'm newish, I practiced this thing this morning. It's pretty much a straight climb all the way up this valley, as hard as you can go in one of the Cessnas, or you almost don't make it over the top. Either that or I'm terrible at flying and don't know how to climb.
So those mountains at the end, they are 17.5, is that what it's saying?
Yes.
They don't look it. It's weird.
When we
There's a cool
we
little
follow-
pass at the top. Sorry, man. There's a cool little pass at the top. You got to clear. I went over at 18,000 feet this morning just for fun and kind of barely cleared it.
For those Americans from the United States, you know, here we have an installation which was built, I think, also with help by the NASA. It's an observatory of a radio observatory on the left side behind this hill. It was built in the 60s because here in this area that is a special place because of magnetism of the world, the Earth magnetism. So they investigated the fluids, the streams of magnetism, world magnetism.
Interesting.
So here you see on the left and right side, you see these small houses of poor people. Lima had a lot of migration from the mountain area since the 60s, the last century. A lot of migration, but that's why Lima was growing that much. It was based on because poor and also later of terrorism in the 70s, 80s. Was the terrorism shining path was very bad for the country. It was like a civil war almost. And later when we are flying now, we were flying in a valley, which is a special airport, which is on a hill. This is that airport, and this area is still up to now. It is not. It's not okay to fly there when you go in real life, because there are still some activities of the same the resting people of the Shining Path group. They do their drug plantation and transportation. So this is a no-go area, the only no-go area of Peru. It's sadly to say, but it's the no-go area of Peru. This valley Rimac, when you see also houses with many greens. These are also a lot of clubs. There are clubs of the various institutions, police clubs, military clubs, but also a lot of particular clubs, country clubs. So this is a spot or a place to go when it's winter, which is now. We are in winter, still in winter there. Entering into we are entering into spring, but as winter is very cold, it's cold in Lima. It's only 40 degrees, but with 95% of humidity, so it feels very cool. So people go try to go outside of the city and go in there into country clubs and also in this place and at these country clubs. There is more sun, because on the city is always mostly some clouds, and here is always mostly shining. So this is this village below is called Chosica. which is there where the river or the valley divides into two parts. That's the left part is the valley Santa Eulalia, and the right part is following the river Rimac Valley.
It's like, why is it not moving? Oh wait, live pause start.
Landing gear. 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 Landing gear.
Turbulence.
So this is Chosica.
Landing gear. 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 Landing gear.
You can really feel that wave lift. They wave lift.
It's pushing you all around.
Are you all going with overspeed?
I'm sitting around 135.
I'm doing about 170 with TBM when I was climbing.
I'm 170 as well. I'm trying to climb.
I'll throttle it back a bit.
I'm just about come up to 17 miles. So I'll slow down.
I'm coming up to 15,000 feet.
Because I'm a little bit slow.
You're in a caravan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried a caravan earlier. The rate of climb was hopeless.
I'm not having any problems with the caravan right now. I'm sitting at about 1,000 feet per minute.
Perhaps I'm
Yeah.
just impatient.
Yeah, if you climb the entire time, you can make it in the slow plane, the caravan.
Apparently we don't have to do it in Indonesia last night. The X-Club back.
The X-Cub, if you hit the right amount of RPM on takeoff, it climbs pretty fast.
Yeah, I
It's kind of a pain in the butt to find that sweet spot, though.
yeah, I got distracted sightseeing. Hemmed in. Landed on 45-degree slope, turned around, took off downhill. Trying to
Yeah,
get
thrown around up here. Jeez.
Oh, shaky.
Yeah.
Shaky weather. Do you have real weather?
Yes, I have real weather turned on.
Shaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. It's kind of Looks
nice.
good, but
I mean,
Landing gear.
I can handle
Landing
my plane
gear.
in this weather.
Landing
It's just,
gear. Landing gear.
a little shaky.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
kind of
Landing gear.
realistic though.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
I still haven't even put autopilot on yet. Doing this all VFR.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
Because
gear.
if we have real weather, they have I don't know if the upside up the hill it's visibility how it is.
Well, I have the stream running right now. It is looking pretty good. I'm pretty stable right now. I'm gonna probably turn in a little bit. Try and compensate for this.
I plan to use seeing eye dog.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking the cloud setting right now.
There's some really nice textures in this area.
The textures are pretty good. I wish they'd work on their mapping a little better.
If you see these big pylons, I think that's the right name. That's when they have bridges in narrow valleys. They don't model very well these bridges, and so they get very high, and this gives this two columns in the area. Another thing, maybe you have noticed that the area is more green than before, and that's true. When we are entering in altitude, it's inverse that you think normally. It's upper you go, it's greener than when you go below, or when you go more inside. Here also is more storms, rain, while in the coast where we started will mostly never rain. It never rains in Lima. It never rains in California, but it never rains in Lima. That's true.
I wonder how many abandoned mines there are around here.
Sorry?
I said I wonder how many abandoned mines there are.
Abandoned mines? No, mines are still functional here. But you mean the mines of copper?
Like the ones that are depleted.
Yeah, I like watching them on YouTube, like the
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I watched that too. That's cool.
Frank Schlittine, I think his name is.
I just see this big lump.
I live in Georgia. There's a bunch of old mines here that are pretty much explored.
Yeah.
I was born over top a depleted uranium mine in New Jersey.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
Not Hulk. So you see now in front when you enter the right valley, which we now went, you see a lake there. This is one of the lakes. Here we have some artificial lakes also because of the energy consumption of Lima. Were built in the 60s, last century. So I think when you go very below on the valley, you see the poles, the electric line. And that's a problem with water now because of climatic change. There's not that much rainy now. and the glaciers. In Peru, there are still glaciers also. They are melting, and when there is no more water, then will be a problem in the future.
I might have to go a little IFR right now. It's very cloudy.
This is the top coming up here.
That's waypoint 7, approx. Waypoint 6. So you are now on top of the Ticlio Pass, 4,800 meters. When you arrive to waypoint 10, this is the mining city of La Oroya. It's basically it's a big mine and a settlement which forms now the city of La Oroya, and which is not showing in the simulator is there's a high chimney tower there.
A lot of sand.
Try not to go by this too fast on the screen, but sometimes it just does not work.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
And we actually have a rainbow above, kind of forming.
Beautiful.
landing gear, 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 landing gear. Landing gear, 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 landing gear. Landing gear, 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 landing gear. Landing gear, landing gear, landing gear, landing gear, landing gear, landing gear.
That's what autopilot does. Why? Yeah, it drops my plane out of the sky as soon as I hit that AP button, so.
Yeah, I was having that trouble this morning. Caravan.
I was having the same problem with the TPM yesterday.
Landing gear, landing
So
gear,
there's a bug
landing
with the
gear,
autopilot
landing
lately.
gear, landing gear.
And I also wish I could set my damn sensitivities, but I can't do that because they broke that.
I know that kills me.
Taking off down the runway looks like we're on ice. Because the rudders are just so sensitive, yeah, hair trigger. Dive or roll, so I'll call that a win.
Nope. Autopilot is for a straight dive. Yeah, I wanted to go 90 degrees south.
Landing gear. 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 Landing gear.
Who is arriving at Jauja?
That's Haven Wrath. Just, oh my gosh, landed and didn't crash.
Oh. That's not. Some years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, there was an air crash there. Well, an accident there. Their plane, the civil plane, landed, and while landing, it was. I don't know if it hit something but it began to fire, and so there are some videos on YouTube. You find people filming this when they escape emergency, because the airplane was on fire. Will we stop at Jauja?
that this airport down there?
Yes.
We going to land?
Okay.
That was a question.
Yeah, I'm going to land.
Oh boy,
Yes.
here they all come.
Please to realign. I'm very far behind of you.
Trouble is, it's nice and quick, but it don't slow down.
How do you go up vertically with your drone? Key, does anybody know?
R? E or R?
And it's R.
Wonder, can I do inverted in a caravan? Someone getting a phone call.
Hey there, put your mic on push to talk. I
I have 100% crops, and my mixture, I'm sitting around like 75%.
I think someone said the mixture's broken right now, so I think it's just kind of auto.
I have it set on a potentiometer, so I just move it with my pinky every once in a while when I need to change up the amount. The mixture does work, but you have to set it a certain way. And I'm no means a pro at this. I just kind of understand aeronautical airspeeds. Ooh, look, there's a rainbow off to the left there, off my left wing. These clouds look a little ominous. Yes. Well, except for the cloud cover. Yeah, sure.
So this is potato land here. Many potatoes are coming from here. Yeah, potatoes are growing up to 3,500 meters, 4,000 meters, 12,000 feet.
Must be very rich soil then.
Not exactly. Well, yeah. It's, I don't know what's, but it's not that like in big industrial potato production here. But the potatoes are really, really very, very tasty. And I think it's the soil which makes that. The potatoes, they have a very concentrated taste. So I say always to my friends, when you eat a Peruvian potato, for the same taste, for one potato you must eat 2 potatoes from, of another kind.
This cloud is very ominous.
So now when we are turning left, be sure that you have your aircraft blinded because of maybe some shootings. Still not here, this area, but we are entering now in the area, the zone. That's a zone which was in the 80s. Was really a red zone, and it was a really hotspot of terrorism activities. Fortunately, all disappears in this region. So now, when you're traveling now, you can traveling safe in this area. People are very friendly. It's very nice to travel here now. It's very. It's really there's no more activity until the valley of the Apurimac, which is the main valley we are entering sooner, which is the beginning of the jungle, the dark green area. There is still an area which you shouldn't go for holiday. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have to turn off live weather.
On the left side you see a mountain range, an eastern mountain range, which reach over 5,000 meters, or over 16,000 feet height.
Beautiful.
It's also for trekking. It's very interesting place here. It's the entering of the jungle here, besides the mountain range, or behind the mountain range. This valley where you are entering is the same river which we started in Jauja, which is the Mantaro. Just the Mantaro makes like a S form, like the letter S. See? And another interesting place, when you are reaching the place where the river Mantaro enters into Apurimac, there's a delta, a river delta, and this place at the big maps, air maps, you see still the old trucks traffic runways with some holes inside in the middle of the runway, which made the military, when they attacked these runways, they made some craters there, so planes cannot anymore land or start or landing there. These illegal runways, they are not used anymore. So when you see at Google Maps, they are not visible anymore. But in the simulator, you cannot see these runways. They are there, but the trees are covering all this. I tried once to land there, and there are 3-4 runways there, mostly the same place in this river delta, and you cannot see them because they are between the trees, the big trees, as the famous big trees on Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Probably belongs to the CIA.
Oh, maybe. You already passed waypoint 17?
Still have about 9 nautical miles to go.
And what you see is very it's a very difficult country to settle, because the valleys are very narrow, very deep, and you cannot just construct a road between the villages. You have to you need to construct bridges with a length of 5 kilometers, something like this. That's nearly impossible. So the roads are always following, and the hills and form the shape of the mountain. And when you travel with the bus or with the car in Peru, and you see a village just very, very close, and you think, yeah, I'm there in 10 minutes. No, you are there in 2 hours, because then you have to descend the valley, and you go down, and then cross the river, and then again up. And it takes 2 hours, 3 hours to reach the close village.
I think I might have burned all my fuel.
Oh, me too. That's why I have an alarm.
Go into options and map repair and refuel. You can do it like that.
I already refueled.
That's the best feature, I think, for this Flight Simulator. Refilling in the air. And another feature of people who are living here in these areas, when you ask them for how to reach the village or the town, and then they say, it's just here, just only here. they say in Spanish, they say aquisito nomás, aquisito nomás. And when they say aquisito nomás, which traduced closely here, that means that you only have to take 2 hours. But really, people are very friendly. When you go to a village, town, you go there, visit there, and if you are in areas with not a lot of tourists, people they take you. You want to lunch something? Are you frozen? Have you something? And where do you sleep? You are just so alone. You need some help. What can we do? They're very, very friendly, the people.
I know most Americans are jerks, so. Don't really get out too much because of that culture. Why is my airspeed?
Landing gear.
Like gliding.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
I can't wait for until we have a glider, really. It's gonna be so awesome.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
What about helicopters?
Landing
I know they're
gear.
gonna be doing that.
Landing gear.
That and
Landing gear.
Funny you should say that because I'm just like having the theme song from MASH pop up in my head with these mountains. This sim is worth every penny, man, to me.
I got the full set, the premium deluxe for 120. Not complaining one bit. Yeah, sure, there's gonna be problems with brand new games, but
Yeah, I can wait for him to get everything perfect with a chance to, you know, it's pretty darn good.
This is incredible. I would hate to think of how much money I actually did spend in FSX to make it look halfway this good. And then next week that Japan update drops. That's gonna be like probably super cool.
Really.
I think they're gonna go all out on it because the Xbox X, the new series of Xbox is getting ready to drop, and the pre-orders for it started like a couple of days ago. So if they can get this game out on Xbox by Christmas.
Games come out the existing S first.
well, they're gonna be releasing the Series S and the Series X around the same time. So when they released the Series X, a lot of simmers are actually pretty surprised at the quality. I think it was about 60 FPS native 4K. Not bad at all.
I mean, you have to say that like we just entered a new era of flight simming because it's like the masses are going to be, or for the first time, the masses are like totally into it. Even gamers, you know, like typically you just don't sim.
Yeah, that's me. I hadn't played a flight simulator since the 80s.
Yeah.
The only problem is trying to get any kind of hardware right now.
Yeah, everything's sold out. I'm keyboard warrior, but you know.
Oh, I had the T16000 TCS with rudder and throttle. I've had it for about 2 years, so it still works great.
You can't get hold of that in the UK at all for love of money.
Can't get anything at the moment.
The only thing I did find sticks. There's still sticks in stock at the X-Plane 11 store, believe it or not. CH products.
The CH product stuff? I'd probably do the purple if I ever had a chance. Purple or the honeycomb.
That one was BKB.
My son bought the
Landing gear.
Logitech
Landing gear.
flight yoke
Landing gear.
and throttle
Landing
clocker,
gear.
which
Landing
the
gear.
Satec one, yeah.
Landing gear.
sort of
Hey, and the people who are not running track IR right now, there's a Android Face Track app that people are raving about. It's like $10, and you put your phone down near your keyboard, and it translates your head movement into the sim. It's supposed to work extremely well. I don't know anything about it.
It works okay for being wireless. If you have a VR headset, it's a lot easier to use OpenTrack. That's what I'm doing right now.
Are you wearing the headset?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a
I have
Vibe.
the game running through my headset right now. Or the sim running through my headset so I can use OpenTrack.
Trying to hold off to the Reverb G2 and
Landing
it drops.
gear. Landing gear.
There's pre-orders out on B&H Photo already.
Yeah, I buy a lot of stuff from B&H. They're a pretty good company.
I think that they have the pre-order for 600 right now for the Reverb G2.
That's not bad because they're in New York City, and New York City is getting really hit hard economically.
ゲーム、クラッシュしました。
And just the mountain range, which is going very slopey uphill. On the other side, there are cliffs going down. But when you go with the flight sim, when you turn just left side, and you will fly over these cliffs. You won't see them well because they are with standard texture, because they are always in cloudy situation. This area.
少しおかしいので、ゲームを再起動。
What would they go for that?
Why is my rudder?
Why do we need 11,000?
It's very, very steep. Trip to Kitemi. This mountain range in front is the Vilcabamba range, reaching close to 6,000 meters or 18,000 feet. This area was after the Conquista was the refugee zone of the lost Incas, the Vilcabamba.
just look for either poof mutt or flavor flav. Or the airport also.
Kiteni, Koribeni, Kimbiri.
Landing gear. 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 Landing. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Hey guys, which waypoint you are?
25.
25.
Oh, 25. I feel so lonely. Oh. That's the first time I'm just in front of you all. Loser, huh?
Huilana, Sierra Papa, Kilo India.
Exactly. Kiteni.
Are we putting down at this one?
I believe so. That's okay.
Belter, your voice chat's very, very low. It's hard to hear over the engines.
So it's better?
A little bit.
How about now?
Let me just turn down the mic. Because you sound good, just... I can't hear you over my headphones.
landing gear, landing gear, landing gear.
Catch up with the pack of people.
Overspeed.
Stall.
Beautiful valley.
Yes. I'm following around the river. See if I can do some hops across these little sandbars.
At the village Gayuno, we will turn right in a sharp right curve.
Landing gear, 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 landing gear. landing gear, 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 landing gear.
Machu Picchu. Danach gehen wir landen wir in Cusco und jetzt sind wir gerade bei Kiabamba. Ich habe noch für Machu Picchu noch nicht.
Landing gear, landing gear.
Moon is back.
Man ist weg. Macht doch so unten. Du bist auch echt gut bei dir ausgesehen. An dir sagt das auch. Das ist bei dir gut ausgesehen. Du bist richtig was umgefangen. Mach mal. So now we are
This area we are entering is the fruit area of Cusco. Many fruits and vegetables are kind of farmlands there. It's a very warm area, template warm, not too hot.
Landing
It's
gear.
called, the biggest city
Landing
there
gear.
is Quillabamba. Also, this region famous for its tea. There is a tea area, a tea plantation. Tea of willow and coffee also.
Landing gear, 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 landing gear.
lindos que van, porque hay de mi querer. Kiabamba.
Have a good one, Belt. Night.
Say cheese.
Gouda.
The mountain peak you see at the horizon is Salcantay, which over 6,000 meters. It's over 18,000
Landing gear.
feet.
Landing gear.
20,000.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
It's close
Landing
of Machu
gear.
Picchu. When you are doing the Inca Trail, some places you can see it very good, at good weather conditions. You can see it very, very beautiful, scenic area. Yeah. We are close to Machu Picchu. After the Wiro Valley, we reach Santa Teresa. Santa Teresa is just where we turn then left to Machu Picchu. Waypoint 39, Santa Teresa. An interesting fact, when we are arriving to Santa Teresa at waypoint 39, there is a hydroelectric power station that was in the 90s was flooded when a river came down and made an artificial lake at this place, and with the water, with this artificial lake, the power plant station was flooded. So for many months the area was without energy, or they had to pass energy through another line. Also for Cusco it was difficult for the energy supply. I was there before that happened. I saw it still in a good conditions. And also the trains, the railway was damaged, and I don't know if the train still goes till Piabamba, which the city which we pass, or which stops at Santa Teresa. So it's an area which has sometimes natural issues, catastrophes. So now we are at the valley of Wiro. This left-hand valley is the tea region. They planted tea there. So here starts the mesh not being so well. This area is really a beautiful area for trekking, walking, hiking. So the surroundings. Nature and culture. Ruins everywhere. The So now we see the power plant just below. It's a bigger building on the right side. Before we reach the ruins of Machu Picchu. So the Machu Picchu is more or less okay, but the Huayna Picchu is on the left side, this small hill, which is famous of every picture of Machu Picchu you see, is not well in the mesh. The name Machu Picchu is the name of the mountain on the right side. It gives the... Yeah, I have a mesh, but I have a mesh for the old flight sim.
They have a new one for 2020. I just don't know how to install it correctly. It's the same thing with the X-Wing fighter, other planes and stuff, the add-on planes.
Yeah. So here rivers and valleys doesn't combine nothing. We also pass Aguascalientes. This is the village on the left side. That's the starting point for the tourists. For tourists going with by buses, they're starting going up to the ruins. Well, we already passed Machu Picchu, so who took the picture? And now we are following the Urubamba River. On the left side, this mountain is called Veronica.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
The native name. That's also called Veronica.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
so the Inca Trail, famous trail which starts at some point of waypoint 42 or a little bit more away of waypoint 42. The Inca Trail takes 2-3 days, and this is all on the right side into the mountain, the hiking trail. You walk many times on the original trail of the Incas. So after waypoint 42, there's a ruin. You will see a ruin on the right side, down just on the riverbank. That's called Yaxtapata. It's also a village ruin of the Incas. There you see on the right side, down. How are the ruins? They're visible? Oh yeah, that was visible. Oh, the ruins are very well seen.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
So Inca Trail starts here.
Landing gear. 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 Landing gear.
And close to waypoint 43, there's the old Inca village Ollantaytambo. Has also a big fortress built of stone, big blocks of stones there. And on the right side there are is an area of salt mining. It's a traditional salt mining with small basins covered with covered in salt from the with water from the ground from the rock. There are beautiful pictures of this salting mine there.
This?
I was confused, sorry. After waypoint 43 is the ruins. Hard to recognize from the air. Yeah, that's the next where the other river enters. That's the ruin of Ollantaytambo. The village of Ollantaytambo remains its design of roads out of the Inca times, still of the Inca times. So the roads are very narrow, as Incas didn't know the wheel or didn't know how to use the wheel for cars, so they didn't have any cars. So streets are very narrow in this village of Ollantaytambo. Just where you are arriving now, on the left side. If you look back, you see the ruins. This is the Holy Valley of the Incas, it's called. The Incas, they lived in Cusco, which is at 3,300 meters or 10,000 feet. And this valley is only at 2,500 meters or 7,500 feet. So the climatic is a climatic change. It's warmer here. It's a microclimate here, and the terrain is very good for agriculture. So Incas use this area for their supply of food. That's why it's called Holy.
They probably also use the waterways as transportation as well.
No, the waterways are not that quiet as you see here. They have a lot of rocks inside, so it's impossible to go with boat here. Here it looks that's
well,
not okay.
Even boat, just like have transport food and stuff down the river.
No, they transported it with llamas. Back of the llama. Now this river here is too peaceful here. In reality, it's not so peaceful.
It's more like whitewater.
Yeah, many tourists they come here and they organize here called the craft with the boat.
Whitewater rafting.
River rafting, yes. And here, just here on Urubamba, on the right side hill, there is a hotel. Maybe you have heard about the hotel which is on the cliff. A small hotel which you are 400 meters or 1,200 feet above the ground, and you have to climb this room. It's a fantastic hotel. It's very special. This is Urubamba. Village, the city of Urubamba gives the name to the river. I remember 20 years ago I did mountain biking here in this area. Very beautiful.
That would be awesome.
And if you see, look at the hills, sometimes you see writings. So people are writing in the hill. That's very common very usual in Peru. And to reach Cusco, you have to cross over a high plateau. There are some lakes. It's a very traditional region. People are there. There are artisanal manufacturing there. You can buy woven stuff, llama woven or alpaca woven stuff, and good food, natural food, maize, potato. There's also an area where the Incas already did some testing. It was like a laboratory.
Landing gear.
That's called
Landing
Morai.
gear. Landing
This is
gear.
a circle hole in the earth. They built
Landing gear.
small hole to test the different for different temperatures, how to do the plantation. So the scientific approach for their agriculture. This area where we are flying now over is the area also which is proposed for the new airport of Cusco. There's a question at this airport because it is a natural area. There are the natural lakes. It's swampy. It's higher than Cusco itself. The airport here, terrain is higher. It's a natural area, and it is still not clear if they will build the airport. But the region would be okay because it's flat. There are not many villages here. This is Chincheros, the village. Has also ancient ruins of the Incas, the old Spanish church, very beautiful. Some typical pictures from Peru are taken. Lake Boroi. And when we are landing in Cusco, I see in flight sim a lot of people are landing on runway. Oh, I don't remember the number, but heading west. That's not correct. No plane in reality makes approach or lands heading west. East. Sorry, heading east. They're all landing heading west. So if you want to try, you can do it, but it's not the standard procedure. So now we are arriving at Cusco.
Landing gear. 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 Landing gear.
So these are the suburbs of Cusco. Uphill. Valley of Watanay River. It's called the name Watanay. On the left side, when we are flying over the city. On the left side are the ruins of Sacsayhuamán, which are famous because of their big stones, taller than man, 3-4 meter high, and with precision put it together with the other stones. It's like a fortress or a ceremonial place.
Sounds like Stonehenge or something.
Landing
Yeah,
gear.
it's just better.
Landing
Those
gear.
are walls here.
Landing
Here,
gear.
those are walls.
Landing gear.
Stones forming a wall, big wall. You can fly this green, clear green
Landing
area.
gear.
This is the area
Landing
of the
gear.
ruins of
Landing
Sacsayhuamán.
gear.
You can fly over
Landing
it,
gear.
as
Landing
I do
gear.
so.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
Right on the
gear.
right side, you see then
Landing
the
gear.
Plaza de Armas,
Landing
the main
gear.
place.
Landing gear.
And all buildings in the center of the city were built over the original palaces of the Incas. So Spanish put their palaces over the Inca palaces. Same base. There's the brewery area. They have a famous beer from the Cusqueña beer, very tasty. And the soccer club of Cienciano, which has the stadium there. Cienciano was a winner of the Copa America. South America.
Landing gear.
And in real life, when you land here, you have to do a test flight with the pilot who knows the region before you can land here officially.
There's a couple airports that are like that, where you have to have get the skill in order to actually land.
Yes, instruction. Yeah. These hills are when you see
Landing gear.
what you see on the
Landing
front.
gear.
These
Landing
are
gear.
where the valley is narrow. It's a little bit difficult because it's windy, so it's
Landing
that's the,
gear.
I think
Landing
this was
gear.
the
Landing
part
gear.
of the
Landing
of the
gear.
arrival.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
I appreciate you doing the correct approach to Cusco. Because sometimes ATC still makes error.
The in-game ATC is horrible.
Yes.
It would be nice to be connected to VATSIM here now.
Oh yeah, there's a WhatsApp group, Fir Lima. They sometimes make some events, also together with other WhatsApp groups of Chile and Bolivia. Once they made, for example, the Caminos del Inca some years ago.
Imagine an ATC person trying to deal with 27 planes. That
Impossible.
But this is very nice. With this carrying out this new flight simulator.
Yeah, this is a very, very pretty airport.
No, it looks really good. And there are some payware also, Cusco also for the old FSX. I remember. In my life, once I landed here with a helicopter, and I remember the helicopter landed as an airplane, not as a helicopter.
Oh, it did the airplane approach?
Yeah, a short airplane approach the helicopter did. It was once with wheels, it was Antonov, a big helicopter.
Really nice flight.
For me it was emotional.
It was a little
Approach is perfect. Right. A little higher.
Well, that's an international airport.